Hello, folks. I bet you thought I was dead. Thought I was away from this world, didn't you? Welcome back to another record review. Um, I am Dr. Benway, and today we're going to be talking about another Beach Boys record. In fact, it's a sequel to the first record review I did, Spirit of America. This is another compilation that was put out to cash in on the Beach Boys' new popularity after the release of the film um, American Graffiti. American Graffiti. I said that already, but now you heard it twice, so it's even nice. Twice as nice, right? That's what I would say. Twice as nice. Um, so the Beach Boys had a brand new wave of popularity following American Graffiti, um, and since they were no longer on Capitol Records put out a bunch of compilations to capitalize on that, and the first was Endless Summer, and now the second is Spirit of America. And of the two, I prefer Spirit of America. I think that's kind of a common uh, opinion. But Spirit of America is a much better record, and let's go into why. First, I want to start with this album art, which I find just really great comparatively to Endless Summer. I think Endless Summer has a really good album art, actually. Um, it just was kind of mismatched, in my opinion. It reminded me a lot of the Smiley Smile artwork, and that's just kind of weird that it was like Smiley Smile was, psychedelic. That was way, way further from the surf stuff. This is, the surf stuff. It was the surf stuff, and just kind of a weird kind of difference of sorts. These videos are not scripted, by the way. Maybe they should be. The album art is done, and I looked this guy up, but it's art direction, illustration, Keith McConnell, who started doing art during war, the Vietnam War, and he actually worked for the armed forces. But this is just, I love this album art. I think it's really great. Just this, all these like American things, and then on the back, even more American things. Is that Lassie? I never even know it's a Lassie. That's a tiger. That's a tiger. That's not Lassie. That's a tiger. Oh, that's not Lassie. That's a tiger. Uh, all these like really American type things, sensual. Uh, and then on the inside, you got pictures of a band, an illustration of Dick Clark, who was a big deal in the early rock and roll era. The show American Bandstand got a lot of artists their start. It's kind of like that was your big like thing. If you got an American Bandstand, you were in. But I love this inside art too. Just the comparative, like what they look like now, and Dennis is the only clean shaven one. He would not remain that way for long. Even the inside one here, even Mike's got his beard. So this is like 1965 at least. This is these probably are taken from the Pet Sounds sessions or something. But great photos of the band, and a nice illustration. So overall, I really like this album art. I want to show the full thing because if I ever find like an empty sleeve of this, the thrift, this and um, Endless Summer, these would make really nice on the wall. If you find an empty sleeve of the record, they're just absolutely toast. This art is really great, but who cares about it, right? I mean, we love music. So side one starts with Dance Dance Dance, which is one of their more inane songs. It's fine. It's from the Today album. The problem with it is that like I prefer the slower songs, the ballads off of Today. Um, And well, Dance 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 and fuck, what's the other one? Do You Wanna Dance are both fine. I mean, the ballads on that album are so much better. But Dance 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 is fine. It's a song about basically it's kind of the same thing as like Chuck Berry's School Days, where it's like I want to get home so I can listen to music, because I'm in high school. I'm a high school student and I like music. They were in their 20s by then, but I'm in high school. We're back. And then you go right to Breakaway, and this is kind of interesting because you'll see here. Well, you won't see, but I'll see. It says all the times they were recorded. So Dance 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 was recorded in September and October 1964, and Breakaway was recorded May 1969. And a lot fucking happened in those 5 years. Um, you may know that a lot happened, and so Breakaway was kind of like an attempt, one of their last attempts at a hit single after Smile blew up and everything, and it didn't. I don't think it charted. It's one of my favorite songs of theirs now. Um, it's kind of like more R&B, kind of like the Wild Honey record. Um, but that might just be me. One second. I love all these breaks. These breaks are great, aren't they? Anyway, it might be from the Wild Honey sessions, but I don't think so. But whatever. And then the next track. Well, anyway, no, not the next track. Breakaway was a hit single. Well, not a hit single. Excuse me. I am all over the place. Breakaway was a single, didn't do anything, and so now it's on this record, which is nice because I think it goes through something now. So it's nice to actually have it on an album. Um, the next song is "A Young Man Is Gone," and this is a decent song. It is a deep cut. Not exactly the first song I would think of from the Beach Boys. It's written by Bobby Troup, who wrote Route 66. There's a fly in here, and a guest star. Um, yeah, Bobby Troup. It was recorded September 1963. It's fine. I think it's actually pretty good. It's got that nice vocal, like Four Freshmen esque type thing. Um, it's about James Dean, who died in a car accident. Um, Very preventable way to die, but you know, um, uh, I shouldn't say that, but he was speeding. He was going past the speed limit. But A Young Man Is Gone is fine. The next track is the 409, one of their first car songs, and it's primitive. I mean, it's fine. It might be not one of the best songs in the world, but it's a fine song. That one was recorded in 1962. It doesn't have the month. Next is The Little Girl I Once Knew, recorded October 1965. This was a B-side, I believe, because I don't think it's on any of like the main line studio albums. Um, but it is a B-side, I believe. I believe. Um, but it's a good song. I enjoy it quite much. And then the last song on side one is Spirit of America, the title track for the record. This is about a car. Or is it about the airplane? I think it's about the airplane. It's a car. The airplane's called the Spirit of St. Louis. I just realized that. That made me sound like a moron, but Mr. Ju fits. Side 2 begins with Little Honda. This is my favorite of their serving songs. It is really good. It's probably the fastest song that they have from that era. It has a really high beats per minute, and it's almost like, I don't want to say proto punk, but it's like proto punk in a way, um, where it's just this real good driving song. And I mean it's probably their best song about any automobile, any wheeled vehicle. Um, The Little Honda's probably their best song about any vehicle. I don't know why I said it like that, but we're going with it. Hushabye is a cover. This is a good cover. The Beach Boys always did good doo-wop covers in this early part of their career, and then when they started doing rock and roll covers in the 70s, then it kind of became a problem. But shoot, Hushabye is a good cover. Then you have Hawaii, written by Brian Wilson. Oh, I forgot to say, Lil Honda recorded April 1964, Hushabye recorded July 1964, Hawaii recorded July 1963. Good time to be recording summer songs. Hawaii is a great song, just about going to Hawaii. Um, a lot of these Beach Boys songs lyrically, they were not, from 1963, they were not lyrically there yet, but sonically, they had their sound down pat. Drive-In's a good song, recorded July 1964. It's fine. Good to My Baby. Now here we're getting into the good stuff from January 1965. Good to My Baby is just awesome. It's about being good to your baby. It's a song about because they have this weird trend where like they released songs about where like the crux of it was I treat you like shit, but you're still around, like you're still good to me and you still believe in me. That kind of like well, maybe not you still believe in me, but you're so good to me. And then there's another one, but I cannot remember it right now. But you're so good to me is like I treat you like garbage, and you still love me. So that's got to be worth something. But Good to My Baby is great. The harmonies there. It's awesome. Tell Me Why by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, recorded September 1965. This is from the Beach Boys Party album, which is such a weird record, um, such a product of its time, in a good way, in my opinion, in the sense that like we were so starved for like intimacy with our favorite bands and artists to be, with them and like around them that they recorded an album where it's like you're at a Beach Boys party. It's very heavily doctored, but the point still stands. It's from that like Beatles, the rock and roll, pre psychedelic um, era, where it was like people were buying Beatles wigs and Beatles ice cream. It's you wanted to be connected with your favorite bands and artists in any way, and I think that's really cool. I think that's like such a neat thing. I mean, like how these records would come with pictures of the artists, and that's something that is kind of gone. Specifically, teen idols. You know, um, I'm trying to think of like a modern teen idol. I guess like is Sabrina Carpenter a teen idol? I know nothing about her. Um, I mean, like there's artists that are being listened to by teenagers, but there's no teen idols anymore. The way that the Beach Boys were teen idols, that Ricky Nelson was a teen idol, that even Bobby Sherman, may rest in peace, was a teen idol in that sort of sense. Where it was just clamoring for anything, basically. Now we have social media and reality television and entertainment news, and so we feel we know our celebrities a bit more, but this era was really interesting in the way that we were just clamoring for literally anything. So that's interesting. Do you remember if the first song on side 3? This is probably one of the dumbest songs of the record. Um, it is about how there are rock and roll stars, and do you remember them? If you do, congratulations, you remember that Chuck Berry exists. That's it. I mean, it's a minute and 37 seconds. It was recorded in May 1964. This Car of Mine, recorded February 1964, is fine. Um, You know, I mean, it's perfectly fine, but third track is really my favorite. Please Let Me Wonder from the album Today, recorded January 1965. This is just an amazing song. This is where the band, in my opinion, was at their peak. You know, even though my favorite album comes 5 years later of theirs, this is like the peak Beach Boys, in my opinion. This is where peak Brian Wilson, I'll say peak Brian Wilson, because I think peak Beach Boys was Sunflower, because that's when the band was working as a unit. But this is peak Brian Wilson. Um, this is when he was at his creative height. And that's not to say that he didn't have another peak. You know, you can peak twice, probably. Uh, but this is really one of his best. Next, we have a cover of Frankie Lyman's Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Really good cover. I actually love this one as of late uh, quite a lot. It's just a good cover of it, and it's different enough that, like, because, you know, the Beach Boys were semi doo wop. They were inspired by doo wop, but they weren't doo wop. But they very easily could have done their just straight version of it, but they kind of give it their own flavor, which is nice. Um, Custom Machine, a minute and 40 seconds. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't remember this song. A lot of these minute and 30-second songs, I don't remember. They're just not that memorable. Maybe Custom Machine is actually the greatest song ever. If it is, let me have it. You know, let me put me on the fire. You know, out of the skillet into the fire. Barbara Ann starts at side four. You know, this is one of their monster hits. It was huge. It was I think their biggest hit until Good Vibrations. You know, it's great. You know, but it is more of like a straight doo-wop cover there because it's from the Party album. The problem with the Party album is that, like, it's unique in its sound, but Barbara Ann kind of just sounds like doo-wop already. Like, the Beatles songs stripped down sound really interesting with the bongos and the acoustic guitar, but doo-wop was already kind of stripped down already. It was just voices originally. So, you know, it's the same to me. Salt Lake City is the second track. I meant to say that Barbara Ann was recorded in September 1965. I'm gonna give up over the recording thing. I don't think anyone cares. If you wanted to know, you can buy the record yourself. Salt Lake City, another good song about going to Salt Lake City, the land of the Mormons. Right? Right? Probably. Don't Back Down is a song, number 3 here. You know, again, like another 2 minute, you know, Beach Boys, deeper cut. It's fine. When I Grow Up to Be a Man, great track. Just excellent. This is one of their big hits, too. And I never hear it. It's weird. I have a book up there called the Billboard Hottest 100 Hits, and this was one of their big hits, but I never hear it. I don't anywhere, except when I'm actively listening to the Beach Boys. Do You Want to Dance? Cover of Bobby Freeman? Yeah, Bobby Freeman's big hit. This was the first time that Dennis got a lead vocal, and he sounds good. You know, he sounds good on this. Then Graduation Day, I believe that's from the live album. I'm not sure though. For freshman cover, you know, I mean, the Beach Boys were at their peak when they were doing four freshman covers, when they were doing that style. I absolutely adore that stuff, and this is no different. So that is Spirit of America by the Beach Boys. Um, I, I I guess I want to talk about why I prefer it because despite my, like, you know, yeah-ness to the deep cuts, I'm still, like, happy that you know, these are on the record because, you know, you don't hear them often. I think it's a better record just because it's got more variety, even though a lot of them are like, you know, drive-in. Like, I'm not even gonna like say that they're bad songs or anything. They're just not exactly memorable in the way that a lot of the other Beach Boys songs are memorable. Um, but it's a good record, and you should get it. So if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Uh, Self-immolate.